The shout tore through the early morning air before the sun had fully risen. Fish don't finish for this river or what? Sadiq did not answer. He stood knee-deep in the cold water, gripping his net with stiff fingers. The shout came again, louder this time, followed by laughter from the other fishermen gathered a few steps away. "You go soon start begging the river with tears," another voice mocked. Sadiq swallowed and pulled the net anyway. Water splashed. The net came up heavy, dripping, promising, then empty. Not even a finger-length fish struggled inside. His chest tightened. He dropped the net back into the river and turned his face away so no one would see the shine in his eyes. A grown man crying before dawn was something the village never forgot. Behind him, someone spat into the water. If hunger was fish, Sadiq for be king. More laughter. Sadiq stepped out of the river without a word. His legs felt weak, as if the river had taken something from him instead of giving. As he walked away, the water flowed on, quiet and innocent, like it had done nothing wrong. By the time he reached home, the compound was already awake. Amina sat on a low wooden stool, fanning a small charcoal stove that held no pot. The fire burned uselessly, as if mocking her effort. Zainab, their 6-year-old daughter, lay on a mat nearby, coughing softly. Amina looked up when Sadiq entered. Her eyes went straight to the basket. Empty. She did not shout. She did not sigh. That was worse. "So?" she asked. Sadiq placed the net against the wall. "The river refused today." Amina nodded slowly. She pulled Zainab closer and rubbed her back. "She asked for food since dawn," she said quietly. "I told her to wait for you." Zainab looked at her father. "Daddy, did you catch anything?" Sadiq forced a smile that hurt his face. "Tomorrow," he said. "Tomorrow I will bring plenty." The child nodded, trusting him the way only children do. Outside, neighbors passed carrying baskets filled with fish. Sadiq watched from the doorway as people who were once like him walked with confidence, calling buyers, laughing loudly. Something had changed in the river. Everyone could feel it. Later that morning, Sadiq walked to the market, hoping Mama Kemi might allow him take fish on credit again. As he approached her stall, he slowed his steps. She was talking to 2 women, her voice low. "The river gives with one hand," Mama Kemi said, arranging fish carefully, "and takes with the other." One of the women frowned. "What do you mean?" Mama Kemi glanced toward the river, then leaned closer. "Musa's canoe never came back. 3 nights now." The women gasped. "They say the river chose him," Mama Kemi continued. "Mami Wata does not like greedy people." Sadiq's throat dried. Musa was strong, younger than him. If the river could take Musa, what chance did he have? He turned away before anyone noticed his face. That afternoon, Bello came by. Bello had been Sadiq's friend since boyhood. They had fished together, starved together, laughed together. Now, Bello wore clean slippers and carried himself like a man with options. "You are back early these days," Bello said, settling on the bench. "There is nothing to stay for," Sadiq replied. "The river is not empty, brother. It only listens to some people." Amina paused her sweeping. "What kind of talk is that?" Bello shrugged. "Respect, that is all. Some people know how to show it." Sadiq met his eyes. "Respect how?" Bello stood. "When hunger bites too hard, you will understand." After he left, Amina faced her husband. "I don't like the way Bello talks these days." Sadiq lay on the mat, staring at the ceiling. "He used to be hungry like us." "Yes," Amina said, "but hunger can change a man." That night, sleep refused to come. Sadiq rose quietly and stepped outside. The moon hung low, its reflection trembling on the river's surface. As he approached, he heard murmurs. Men stood by the water, faces half hidden. Someone poured gin into the river, another dropped folded money. No spirits appeared, no voices spoke. The men left silently, like criminals who knew better than to celebrate. Sadiq's heart pounded. He returned home slowly. In his pocket, his last money pressed against his fingers. He looked at Amina and Zainab sleeping, their bodies thin, their breaths shallow. Sadiq turned back toward the river. He knelt at the water's edge, hands shaking. "I only want to feed my family," he whispered. Then he let the money fall. The river swallowed it without a ripple. The river did not answer Sadiq that night. It only flowed. When he returned home, his hands were empty, but his chest felt heavy, like he had left a part of himself behind in the water. He lay beside Amina and stared into the dark until morning crept in. At dawn, he went back to the river. This time, when he pulled his net, the rope bound his palms. The net rose slowly, stretching, alive with movement. Fish thrashed inside, big ones, shiny ones, more than he had caught in months combined. Sadiq froze. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming. "Ha!" someone shouted nearby. "Sadiq don't hammer!" Other fishermen gathered. Their laughter sounded different now, forced, careful. Sadiq's heart beat wildly as he lifted the net again. More fish. The river had not refused him after all. By noon, he sold everything. He returned home with food, rice, oil, and meat. Amina stared at the bags. "Where did this come from?" she asked. "The river remembered me," Sadiq said. That night, they ate until Zainab slept with a smile, but Amina did not smile. "The river does not remember people suddenly," she said. "What did you do?" Sadiq said nothing. The next day, the same thing happened, and the next, his nets came up full while others struggled. Bello laughed loudly now, clapping him on the back. "You see," Bello said, "respect." Money returned to Sadiq's pocket. His back straightened. People greeted him again. Then the rumors returned. Another canoe overturned, another fisherman vanished. Women whispered near the river. Children were warned not to go close. One evening, Mama Kemi stopped Sadiq. "Be careful," she said. "The river always collects payment." That night, Bello came again. "It is time," Bello said. "Time for what?" "To show gratitude." Sadiq followed him to the river. Money was poured, gin splashed, words were spoken under breath. Sadiq hesitated. "How long does this continue?" Bello's smile faded. "As long as you want the river to listen." The next morning, Sadiq's boat was gone. Fear crawled up his spine. By afternoon, Bello demanded repayment for the help. "You think the river walks for free?" Bello said. Sadiq felt trapped. That night, thunder rolled. The river swelled. Sadiq stood at the edge, torn between hunger and fear. Behind him, Amina's voice echoed in his head. "Easy money always collects payment later." In the distance, someone screamed. The river flowed on. The money did not stop coming. Even without his boat, Sadiq kept finding ways to survive. Bello loaned him a canoe. Other fishermen allowed him join their trips, always watching him closely, as if the river itself might change its mind if they looked away. Each time Sadiq touched the water, his net came up heavy. Too heavy. Fish spilled onto the sand, silver bodies slapping against one another, gasping. People gathered quickly now, not to mock him, but to count. "Ah, this one is blessed." Say it quietly. Sadiq heard the words and felt a strange mix of pride and shame. At the market, Mama Kemi no longer looked him in the eye. Buyers paid quickly and left faster than usual, clutching their baskets as if luck might leak out. At home, food returned. Clothes were washed. Zainab laughed more. But sleep abandoned Sadiq. At night, he dreamed of water filling his mouth. He dreamed of standing in the river while unseen hands pulled his legs. He woke up gasping, his mat soaked with sweat. Amina noticed. "You are not sleeping," she said one morning. Sadiq avoided her eyes. "The days are long. The nights are longer," she replied. "Whatever you are doing, stop it." Sadiq snapped. "Stop what? Feeding my family?" Amina flinched. "I am not fighting you," she said softly. "I am afraid for you." Fear had become common in the village. A young boy was found crying near the riverbank, his fishing basket floating beside him. His father never came back. People said he went too deep. Others said he asked for too much. No one said Bello's name. One evening, as Sadiq returned from the market, Bello pulled him aside. "You missed last night," Bello said. "I was tired." Bello's face hardened. The river does not accept excuses. Sadiq felt anger rise. "Is it the river or you?" Bello grabbed his shirt. "Do not forget who brought you here." That night, Sadiq stood alone at the river. He did not pour anything. He did not speak. He simply turned and walked away. The next morning, his borrowed canoe cracked in half while still tied to the shore. People shook their heads. The river is angry. By afternoon, Bello was at his door. "You think you can eat without paying. Others have paid with more than money." Sadiq's stomach turned. "What are you saying?" Bello leaned in. "Musa did not fall by mistake." The word struck Sadiq like a slap. "You pushed him." "Musa did not want to continue," Bello said calmly. "He wanted to expose us." Sadiq staggered back. The room felt smaller. "You are mad," Sadiq whispered. Bello smiled thinly. "We are surviving." That night a storm gathered. Wind whipped the river into dark waves. Sadiq stood at the edge, shaking, torn between fear and guilt. In the distance, a scream rose and was swallowed by thunder. Sadiq ran home and vomited behind the house. Amina held him as his body shook. "This is not the life we prayed for," she said. Sadiq wept into her shoulder. By morning, he knew he would speak. Sadiq did not sleep that night. He sat on the floor until dawn, his back against the wall, listening to the river swell and retreat like a breathing animal. Every sound felt like a warning. Every shadow looked like Bello. When the sky finally lightened, Amina rose quietly and sat beside him. "You have decided something," she said. Sadiq nodded. His throat felt tight. "If I keep quiet, more people will disappear. And if you speak," he looked at her, "then I might." Amina closed her eyes. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then she reached for his hand. "Whatever you do," she said, "do it clean. Let our daughter grow knowing her father chose truth." By midday, the village buzzed with tension. Another body had been found downstream. This time, there was no denying it. The man's head was split open. His canoe showed signs of struggle. Police arrived from the nearby town. Their uniforms looked out of place against the mud and broken nets. People gathered in clusters, whispering, pointing toward the river. "Mami Wata is angry," someone said. "No," another replied. "Men are." Sadiq watched Bello from across the crowd. Bello looked calm, too calm. He joked with one of the officers, slipping something into his palm. That was when Sadiq stepped forward. "I want to talk," he said. The words felt heavy as they left his mouth. Conversation stopped. Heads turned. Bello's smile vanished. "What are you saying?" Bello asked, his voice low. "I want to tell them what is happening," Sadiq replied. Bello laughed loudly. "This one has lost his mind. Hunger will make a man mad." Sadiq faced the officers. His heart hammered in his chest. People are not falling into the river by accident. They are being pushed. A murmur spread through the crowd. Bello moved closer. "Sadiq, think well." "I have," Sadiq said. "You use fear. You use the name of a spirit to control people. You collect money, and when someone refuses, they disappear." Bello's hand trembled. "You want to die?" Bello whispered. One of the officers raised a hand. "You," he said to Sadiq, "come with us." They took Sadiq aside. Questions poured in. Names, dates, places. Sadiq answered everything. By evening, Bello was in handcuffs. The village erupted. Some cheered, others cursed Sadiq openly. "You have offended the river. You want all of us to suffer." Women cried, men argued. The river flowed on, untouched. That night, the storm returned. Rain fell hard, drumming on roofs, flooding paths. The river rose quickly, swallowing its banks. Sadiq stood outside, watching the water creep closer to the houses. Bello's voice echoed in his head. The river will swallow you. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Sadiq!" A man ran towards him. "The current is strong. Your house." Before he could finish, a surge of water knocked Sadiq off his feet. He fell into the river. Cold closed over him instantly. Water rushed into his mouth, his nose. He struggled, arms flailing, legs kicking against nothing. So this is how it ends, he thought. Images flashed. Amina's face, Zainab's laugh, the empty nets. A strong current dragged him under. His chest burned. Darkness pressed in. Then something solid struck his hand. Wood. Sadiq clung to it with everything he had left. The current carried him far from the village, spinning him, slamming him against branches and debris. When he finally lost consciousness, the river carried him silently. At dawn, fishermen downstream found him tangled in reeds, barely breathing. Sadiq woke to the sound of coughing, not his own. It took time for him to understand where he was. His body felt heavy, as if the river had not fully released him. His throat burned, his head throbbed. When he tried to move, pain spread through his chest and arms. "Easy," a voice said. "Don't rush back to the world." He turned his head slightly. Mama Kemi sat beside him, her wrapper tied tightly, her face drawn with worry. "You are alive," she said again, as if saying it twice would make it true. Sadiq closed his eyes. Alive. The word felt strange in his mouth. "They found you far downstream," Mama Kemi continued. "If not for that log, the river would have kept you." Sadiq swallowed painfully. "The river didn't want me," he whispered. "Men did." Mama Kemi sighed. "The river only carries what we throw into it." For 2 days, Sadiq drifted in and out of sleep. Fever came and went. Each time he opened his eyes, he expected to see water. Each time he was surprised to see walls. On the 3rd day, Amina arrived. She did not speak at first. She stood at the doorway holding Zainab's hand tightly, as if afraid Sadiq might disappear again if she loosened her grip. Sadiq tried to sit up. Amina rushed forward. "Don't," she said, pressing him gently back. Her voice cracked. "Just stay." Tears rolled down her face without sound. "I thought," she stopped. "I thought I had raised my daughter alone." Sadiq reached for her hand. His fingers were weak, but she felt them. "I am sorry," he said. Amina shook her head. "No, don't apologize for choosing truth." Zainab climbed onto the mat carefully, studying her father's face. "Daddy," she asked, "did the river beat you?" Sadiq managed a small smile. "No," he said, "the river saved me." Outside, the village was changing. Bello and 2 other men were taken away in a police van. Their homes were searched. Money was buried near the riverbank. Nets were discovered hidden, slashed to sabotage others. Witnesses began to speak, quietly at first, then louder. One fisherman confessed how they were told to keep silent or lose everything. Another admitted they were paid to spread stories of Mami Wata's anger. Fear had been the strongest weapon of all. When the truth spread, shame followed. People avoided Sadiq's house at first. Some were afraid, others were angry. "You brought police trouble to this place," one man shouted. But others came quietly at night. "My brother disappeared," a woman whispered. "Thank you for speaking." The river returned to its normal flow. Not calmer, not gentler, just honest. Weeks passed. Sadiq grew stronger slowly. His body healed faster than his mind. Sometimes he woke suddenly, his heart racing, sure he was back in the water. On one such night, He sat outside alone, watching the moon ripple across the river's surface. Amina joined him. "Do you still fear it?" she asked. Sadiq thought carefully. "No," he said. "I fear what we become when hunger removes our patience." Amina nodded. The river didn't change, we did. When Sadiq returned to fishing, it was different. No secret offerings, no whispered prayers, no shortcuts. Some days the nets were full, other days they were not. But his sleep returned. The village began to fish together again. They repaired nets communally. They warned children to stay away from deep water, not because of spirits, but because rivers demand respect. Mama Kemi spoke openly now. Mami Wata is not a woman in the water. She is the name we give to our greed so we don't have to own it. The word spread faster than fear ever had. One evening as the sun dipped low, Sadiq sat with Zainab by the riverbank. "Daddy," she asked, "why do people say the river rewards and destroys?" Sadiq watched the water move steadily forward. "Because life does the same. When you are patient, it feeds you. When you rush it, it takes payment." Zainab nodded, pretending to understand. Sadiq understood now. The river had never promised riches. It only reflected what was thrown into it: honesty or harm, patience or pride. And in the end, it was not a spirit that punished or rewarded. It was choice. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more stories where words carry weight. Comment what you would have done if hunger pushed you that far. And if you want more powerful African folk tales that reflect real life, subscribe to Baobab Folktales. Another story awaits beneath the Baobab.